Hello everybody, it's VG Time back again with an update to the Toppo deck. This right here, I'm not going to go to too deep of details of the cards I already went over in the previous deck profile. So this should be a little bit quicker, and let's get into it. So the leader, Toppo, has the ability to awaken at 4 or less life, or if you have a 2-cost specified cost yellow unison in play, in which case he gets to untap 2 and add cards from his life to your hand until you get to 6 life. On the back side is where the magic happens. That's when he has his floodgate ability to limit a person to 1 battle card per turn once they play the battle card for the first time. So they play the battle card. If you have the unison out there, then they are not allowed to play anymore. Now, he can be played around by certain decks who are able to make multiple battle cards at the same time, so just keep that in mind. But still, very powerful effect. So getting into the unisons, I'm still keeping the 4 Vegeta unisons. The reason for this is that I have learned this card to be a very effective finisher. It has actually been my win condition more often than any other card in the deck. It also is a secondary floodgate by making it so that your opponent cannot attack with battle cards greater than their current cost. So that way, when they're cheating in these big fatties, undercosted, like they're just going, oh, I'm playing 2 for a 6 drop or whatever. It doesn't matter, they can't attack with it. Next up, new addition from set 10, 2 copies of this Gogeta unison. There's a point in time I thought this guy might become the new main unison, but he just doesn't outrightly win the game by himself like the Vegeta does. There's been times where the Vegeta, I could just chain a couple of them in a row and have them attack, 4 times for 20k double strike dual attack. This guy right here is very powerful though, don't get me wrong. He has the ability to beam your leader, give it plus 5k if all your energy is tapped out. It also has the ability to give itself counters by your opponent just playing the game naturally and activating an extra card. It has the activate main where you can +1, discard 2 yellow cards and draw 2. So it helps to fill up the yard if you ever needed to really do that. And then it has the -4 where your opponent can only untap up to 2 of their energy during their charge phase or during their untap phase. So that's very powerful, especially if you know that they're going to have a big power turn and you stifled whatever play they made before. You activate that, you lock them out. Again, another floodgate. So, floodgate.deck, and it starts with the unisons and the leader. Alright, so for the rest of the cards, 4 copies of Casserole. Casserole searches both of the unisons as well as U11s that are yellow and cost 4 or less. He also has this really cool interaction with the Vegeta unison where if you tap him for the unison's ability to gain a counter, you get to tap one of your opponent's battle cards. 2 copies of Dispo. This is the card that is on life support in the deck. I actually think that this card, when it is good, is amazing. But more often than not, it's just energy. But he is a free 15k critical attacker as long as you have the unison and no other battle cards in play. So if you open a unison, you open a casserole, you put the casserole back, and hopefully you get the Dispo. 4 copies of Belmod. This guy is way better now that we have the 6 unisons in the deck, because before it wasn't always guaranteed that you will open the Vegeta, and then this guy would cost 4, and at which point he was just okay at best. But with the added consistency of adding the additional couple of unisons, he is almost always going to be 2, and he is going to almost always stifle whatever play your opponent is going to make after you make your unison. We're also running 4 copies of Rebrian. I went with the 4 copies of Rebrian instead of the 2 Dispo I had before, simply because she is always just 1 energy when I need her to be, versus Dispo where you need to have a board in order to make her 1 energy. she also affects the board state by popping a guy, and she works with Successor extremely well, where she gets to pop yet another card. 4 copies of Broly. This is to deal with the big issues. This guy right here can tap down leaders and draw a card, or tap down a card and draw a card. So he can even tap down unisons. He could also Father-Son Kamehameha battle card. So like deal with them if their cost is equal to or greater than your opponent's current energy. Green yellow, so of course you play Analyza. And then I went down to 2 copies of the Toppo. Toppo is a card that I believe has to be in the deck simply because it outs just about every battle card in the game. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, he outs them all. And being able to do that makes him have a spot in the deck. And then for big body, 3 copies of Belmont and Makarita. This right here is fairly easy for this deck to make because we do a lot of 4/3s because of our counterplaying and whatnot. So as long as you're able to establish a couple of guys on the table, you should be able to make Belmont and Makarita. Also, it's very easy to do this because his games last a long time when you're running this leader. So you could even, in some instances, get all the way up to 7 energy. Now, to continue what is going on, let's go with our super combos, because this is still a little bit up for debate. But we have 2 copies of Zamasu, which is guaranteed, that's in the deck. Then we have 2 copies of Dr. Gero. Dr. Gero has been underperforming. I had tried multiple engines with this deck to make the Gero better, but I just came to the conclusion that Gero is just there to be a free arrival combo piece. So I just kind of just let it be what it is. Next up, we play 3 copies of Zarbuto Heroic Stance. We run this guy because a lot of the times once you get awakened and you start enacting your game plan, 1 for 1 of your opponent's cards, you don't take damage. And you need to be able to have access to those cards in your life in order for you to gain any significant card advantage. Because the way the game kind of works, at least with this leader, is that you draw your card for the turn, and then you swing and you get your extra card, but that's just all you really get. You're not getting additional cards. So being able to swing with this guy, take a life, is pretty important. And also, the reason why we run Zarbuto is because of another card. But before I get into that, Champa, you kind of run him because he deals with Deflect. But the reason why he runs Zarbuto and all this U11 stuff is because of the champion pack Zeno. This guy right here is a house. He is a counter battle card attack where he doesn't negate the attack. What he does is you choose the attacking battle card and KO it and then play the card. And then if you happen to have 2 or more battle cards and play with Universe in their name, as a trait I mean, then you get to make him a 2 cost. So you want to make sure that you run as many Universe cards in the slot as possible without losing effectiveness. So that's why we run Zarbuto versus, say, Dodoria, which is a little bit more easily available. Next up, we play 2 copies of Vegeta in this deck. He could go up a little bit more, but he kind of occupies the same space as Belmont. And I think Belmont is just a better overall card since he's a 20k 4-drop versus being a 14k 3-drop. But the great thing about him is that he's free, so, you know, it is what it is. Spirit Fist, this is the reason why the Vegeta is so much better than the Gogeta as a finisher, because you get to give plus 10k power for the turn to your unison as you activate battle, and having this guy swinging 30k dual attack double strike helps to close out the game quite a bit. It also is a crusher ball Actually, no, it's like a giant ball without the card draw, which, you know, that kind of sucks, but it still has the versatility makes it worth it. Then we go to negates, 2 Newwst because sometimes they go wide, a restraint for Invoker, and a release from Evo for the Gohan leader base decks. So that's pretty much the deck profile. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Like I said, I believe green yellow is the way to go with Toppo because you have to make proactive and reactive plays, and I don't think mono yellow or blue yellow can do those things. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and check out other videos on the channel. This is VG Time, signing out.